Alright, so today I want to talk about something new that I found to work on Facebook, on Meta. I know agencies and some businesses have been using it for a long time, but I could never get it to work. And it is bid caps and cost caps. Now, the problem back in the day, when I had little experience with bid caps or cost caps or experience at all, was that if I tried bid caps or if I tried cost caps, Facebook would spend some money, and sometimes on cost caps even a lot of money, and not get me any purchases. So I binned it completely because I just figured, all right, it doesn't work for me. But right now for a client, we're spending six figures consistently, even got up to 300,000 USD 1 month. And what I'm noticing is just it takes a lot of time to manage an account like that, and it feels very inefficient because you have to make a lot of scaling campaigns, make a lot of testing campaigns, and I tend to just create this massive ad account with all of these active assets, then also duplicates to scale faster, and it just becomes an enormous beast without any oversight. But you're also sort of grasping at things. So even you're spending like six figures and it's all within KPIs, it does feel like sometimes you're just doing random stuff with winning assets, hoping that it will stick. So you'll launch a CBO at 500 USD, at 1,000, at 2,000, at 5,000 USD, for example. Well, I thought 5,000 is a bit much for that ad account, but you get the point. And then what happens is some work, some don't, but you don't really have a structure for it, besides just testing a lot. Now, what I found with bid caps is really, really interesting. So I started using bid caps and cost caps more on the basis of recommendations from Andrew J. Ferris. Great guy. I commented like a fanboy on his YouTube account, and he was kind enough to respond to me. And then also there was a Slack group where I asked a couple of guys like, what should I do with these automated rules? Because I don't know how I should approach this surfing. And the response that I got back was kind of funny, because they said stop media buying like it's 2016 and focus just on the creative. So I was like, all right, I have these two people I highly respect that said that to me, who are kind of like pioneers in this space. And then I have my own stuff that I'm doing and I have been doing for a long time, but I feel like it's not efficient. So I started really working with the bid caps, with the cost caps, researching it a lot, going through a lot of the content of Geek Hub, GeekX, really, really good community, really insightful. And what I started doing was testing the bid caps and the cost caps. Now, what happened first was that I got pretty good results straight out of the gate. So what I noticed was on the ad account that I was on, which was spending six figures, if I launched 10 ads within an ad set and there was a winner amongst that ad set, it would just spend on the winner, and it would do so greatly, and it would never go above the bid cap. And it was just wonderful, right? And the reason I started also doing this is because I was starting a lot to do more affiliate offers. Now with affiliate offers, if you have a day in the red, you actually lose money. So it was a lot more important that I gained control over the cost per lead, because it's just a waste of money if you're adding cash flow on one day and then losing money on the other, right? And bid caps just started to work there. So I had 30 cost per lead on the front end when I was auto bidding, while we only got a 23 payout. So I was losing money on average because I was testing a lot. And then when I started bid caps, I was just beneath that straight away. It worked like a charm. and I was getting 10 euros cost per leads with a 23 payout. So it was fantastic. Now I started sort of playing around with the big caps more and the cost caps. And what I found to work extremely well, and what I want to propose that you test, is the way big caps now really work well for me is in two ways. So the first way, and I've tried it on multiple accounts now, and that's why I'm so excited, is because it really works, and I feel like it is the next step to unlocking really good growth for any business and media buying, and also just saving so much time. So that's why I want to share it. And the first thing that I recommend that you do is, if you have 10 creatives, so I'm always prioritize testing creatives over any other element of the ad, just for the quicker wins, because it's more pivotal in the ad account. And what I recommend you do is you take 10 assets maximum, and you drop them all in the ad set, and then you set your bid cap at your target CPA or a realistic CPA. You need to do the calculations well, but if you do that, you'll find that if there is a winner amongst that ad set, it'll serve the ads. Now, for example, my bid cap could be I'm targeting 60 on the back end. I know that Facebook isn't tracking everything, so I'm missing like 39% of the conversions on the front end. I make a calculation, and then, for example, my target bid cap would be, I don't know which number I just referenced, but let's say it's 80, right? 80 on the front end gives me 60 on the back end. And then let's say 60 on the back end is my target. So I set it to 80, and then if it spends, I know that there's potential. If it doesn't spend, then I know that I don't have winners. So I don't want it to spend. And that's like a big difference between what I thought I knew back in the day. Was I thought that every ad needed to get spent in order for me to understand whether it will work or not. But what I'm seeing right now is that I don't need it to spend at all. All I need is just profit, right? For me and for the client. So if it doesn't spend, I'm like, all right, nice. Then I know there's no winner in here, and it just saves me a lot of time and also a lot of energy and also a lot of effort, right? So it's a lot easier this way. If I just dump the assets in a big cap and I set it at the big cap that I want, and if it spends, I know I have a winner, and if it doesn't, I know I don't have a winner. And how that pans out is that you could set up 10 different ad sets, all with the same big cap, all with 10 different videos in there, and then a couple will win and a couple won't, and the ones with that win will get you a fantastic CPA, and the ones that don't will stop spending pretty soon. Now, there is one big caveat. So where this really works well is the accounts where you have a sense of what is working. So where I tested this on ad accounts where I had winning ads, this just took off, right? And then I also have an experience with a client where we don't have evergreen ads working. So I test his entire content mix, because I was like, all right, I'm just going to do everything for the top selling product. We had 194 different images. So what I did was I tested 194 different images with this setup. And what happened is all those different ad sets, and our target was about like 20 big cap bound. And what happened was that 2 or 3 ad sets maybe spent £20, the rest just spent £5, and there were like 19 different ad sets. So what ended up happening was that it spent like 170 total for that campaign, and it only got 1 purchase. Now, back in the day, I would say, yeah, big caps don't work, because that would happen to me, and I wouldn't see the bigger picture of it having worked so well on other ad accounts, right? And on multiple ad accounts. So this is more like the anomaly here. And what I would say is that if that happens, it's still a good thing, and it's not necessarily that the big caps don't work. It just means that your ads aren't working, or your funnel, right? So your LTV isn't good enough, your AOV is not good enough, your conversion rate is not good enough, or the ad is not good enough. But that entire ecosystem of your selling machine That is simply not good enough. Now, secondly, how I've been able to scale this really well, and we're now with big caps and cost caps spending about we're on the road to do 180,000 USD, but we're going to do at least 100,000. It's just that I'm scaling it to 180,000. I think I'm really close, so I expect to be close to 180,000 USD. Now, the way that this scales really nice is that and this is from Andrew, and I love this strategy, it is in the ad set that you're going to test the creatives, you put your winner. So each ad set where you test your ads has the winner, and for any other ad to get served, it needs to beat that winner. Now, if it doesn't beat that winner, it'll just spend on the winner, right? So it's kind of like win-win scenario, because the ad set will spend the dollar with the best ROI on the ad that will get the best ROI. And then often, I found that in 90% of the cases, that's that winner that you already found, right? And then as soon as that starts to fatigue, it will switch over to potentially a new winner, right? But it will beat that winner to shit, basically, until it's no longer profitable, which is great, which is totally fine by me, because I'm seeing fantastic results doing this, but also extremely efficient. So my target CPA is a lot lower because every time I test new assets, the winner is involved in that ad set. So I'm getting a fantastic ROI even when I'm testing assets, which back in the day, if I tested just with AutoBid, which I did always, that would mean that on 13 assets, I would spend 100 USD, and it would just be one winner out of 13 assets, for example, and it would just cost an enormous amount of money. Whereas now, it costs me nothing. Whereas now, it costs me nothing. So I'm currently in Chiang Mai, in Thailand. So I guess it was like a power outage right now. I think it might be haunted. But what happened is I would lose a lot of money on testing. Now I don't. And the way that I've been able to scale this really nicely is I have 2 campaigns now. One was set at like the desired target CPA. One was set at the desired target CPA, and the other was set at slightly higher than target CPA because I wanted to get more spend out of the assets. And then I noticed that the CPA in reality always got lower with big caps than what I had set as a target. So I have 2 campaigns that primarily spend all the budget. One has a slightly higher big cap than the other, and that's it. And within each of those, I have my ad sets, and I have a lot of ad sets, like dozens probably right now. And then within each ad set, I have the winner fighting for a chance over the other ad sets to get served. That works extremely well. And then what I also did, and this also kind of blew my mind, is I just took all the assets, I stuck them into an Advantage Plus campaign, put a big cap on the Advantage Plus campaign, and that worked extremely well too. And then as a last touch, to get a little bit more skill, because I'm still slightly involved with it, I took that campaign and I actually duplicated that as well, and then just took the cost cap off entirely. And that is working extremely well too. So just to break it down, test your assets in an ad set against your winner and test a lot of creatives. So we test about like 40 to 60 creatives each week for that ad account where we're testing or we're scaling with at least 100,000 USD per month. Then if it's working, test different bid caps. I would recommend just duplicating the campaigns so you can see how one bid cap performs versus the other in like an insightful manner. If it's still not scaling enough, and just to give you the entire context, I'm able to spend about 5,000 USD just on bid caps roughly with this strategy, but I want to get it to 6,000 really badly, and I don't want to raise my bid caps further. So what I just did was I have two campaigns, two different bid caps, so that they don't really compete with each other. And then I have the Advantage Plus campaign with a cost cap on it, and that one has 120 plus ads within one ad set. But then again, I tested all those ads. There are plenty enough winners in there, and that just works. I don't think that will work as well as it does for me, because there's a lot of data in the ad account and a lot of winners. But hey, if you're in the same scenario, try it out. And then lastly, what I did was I duplicated the campaigns, set them to ad set budget, and then well, they were already on ad set budget, but I set them on auto bid just to get that final bit of ad spend out that I needed, because I didn't want to raise my bid caps further. So that's it for this video. I hope it's been helpful. Test bid caps. Don't panic if it doesn't spend. If it doesn't spend, it means your assets just kind of suck and you need to work harder on them. Doesn't mean that big caps don't work. That's what I used to think. It's not the case. They work extremely well. They get you an extremely low CPA, and they enable you to test creative extremely effectively. So I'm super grateful that others have shown me the way in this and sort of recommended that I try this, including Andrew. And yeah, I suggest you give it a try. Alright, thank you for watching, and see you till next time. Cheers.